Welcome back to Uncovering Real Estate, brought to you by the Brampton Real Estate Board. I'm your host, Sarabjit Rana. And if you just joined us, I have in studio with me, actually, I'm so happy to have in studio with me, Mayor Linda Jeffrey, City of Brampton. Happy to have you here. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
So we were chatting about the university, and we're getting there, inching our way slowly, right?
We're doing our homework.
We're doing our... Excellent, wonderful. So on to our next question. Give me a little bit of updates, if you may, please, on the future of public transit here in Brampton.
So you're cringing, and I understand why. So last year we had the opportunity, the province came and made an announcement about light rail transit.
Yes.
And the opportunity to be connected to Port Credit.
Yeah.
And the vote was taken last year, and by a very narrow margin, my council turned down the opportunity to be part of that investment, $400 million, fully funded, fully operated by the province of Ontario, and so it was stopped right now at Steeles. But in the interim, my job is to go out there and campaign and advocate for increased transit, because the issue doesn't go away. Whether council wants this route or another, that's immaterial. We still have people, and if you travel as many hours I do, I'm pretty sure you do, you see how crowded the buses are.
Yes.
And people are waiting. So affordability is a huge issue. Yeah. So I've been working with the mayors of Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph.
Nice.
About getting better two-way all-day go. We've been talking about an innovation corridor between Toronto and those other communities, and that whole stretch of rail track really could be an innovation hub for us, and a highway connecting all of those communities back and forth. They actually, those mayors came to me when I was a minister at the provincial government, and I thought, oh, I wish Brampton was part of this. So when I got elected, they came into my office and I said, have me at hello, I'm in. This is good for Brampton. We should be having these conversations, because people need to go back and forth to Toronto, but they also need to get back and forth to Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph, and all of those small business and entrepreneurship opportunities exist along that rail line. So we're having those conversations. Part of the challenge is we need to be talking with the federal and provincial government as well, because right now all of our rail lines are focused on freight. They're not focused on passengers. So the CN-CP relationship right now, the freight is a much bigger priority, and we need to find a way. And I would say the conversations are going very, very well with the province. And I was in Ottawa about 2.5 weeks ago and talked with the federal government, and they understand the issue. It's a new group of ministers and a new group of MPs, and they are very keen to help us expedite those conversations, and I'm very hopeful.
Excellent. Well, it's always nice to see that the work that you're doing is inching its way slowly in the right direction, which is the most important
We're on
thing.
the right track, but I think it's a combination of issues. We're talking about to Metrolinx about Presto and the relationship there and how much it costs, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people in Brampton can't afford a car, can't afford car insurance, very high rates. And you know, they're taking care of their parents or their kids, and they're running sometimes 2 and 3 jobs. It's a challenge for them. So I get it. It's an affordability issue, and we've got to find a way to make it easier for them to get around, to go to work. And a lot of employers see the need for having better public transit as being a boon to attract employees.
And I think it's important to, you chatted a little bit earlier about Pearson Airport being an employment hub.
Yeah.
So to expand a little bit for me in terms of, tell me about the concept. What would you, ideally, if you could see your vision for that, what would it be?
Well, I think we're at the very early stages, and I talked in my State of the Union speech at the Board of Trade about the Neptis Foundation, and actually, if you look at the Toronto Star today, they actually talk about what I was talking about. There are some interesting reports that come out and talk about the kind of traffic that's coming to Pearson Airport. 41 million people.
Wow.
A year. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people
going back and forth, and they're changing the kinds of planes that they actually bring also. So this is kind of outside my mayoralty hat, but an interesting fact that they change the bodies of the plane, so they actually have a larger cargo hold, which means you can import and export more affordably, because the planes are a different configuration. So you don't necessarily have to use the same route you did before. So we're talking about making transit easier to get in and out of the airport, because more people are traveling there. You don't want them bringing their cars. You want to have the easiest way to get in and out, whether you're an employee, whether you're going on a trip, whether you're going for fun or for business. We need to make it easy so it's part of a regular commute. We also need to make sure that all the land surrounding the airport and in adjacent areas are the best use, the highest density, the most flexible type of business opportunities possible. Often cities do something called an official plan. Many realtors know about that. You have to know what the uses are in that area, and that's where you can place a business. We need to be nimble. We need to be able to look at what's the upcoming trends, where are businesses going, what services do they need in close proximity.
Sure.
So that's what I have to do as a mayor, thinking ahead, anticipating beyond my electoral term. How do I make it easier for us to plan a city and all of the areas that contribute to the health and the vitality of a city? So it's one of the areas that we need to focus on.
Yeah.
Our downtown is another area, and there are other opportunities coming up on the long term that we need to seize those chances.
Seize the moment, so to speak.
Yep.
So some municipalities across the country have implemented a land transfer tax.
Yep.
Any plans to implement one here in Brampton?
Well, I know the realtors are hanging with bated breath. It's something that it's not on my radar right now.
Okay.
But what I want to tell you is that affordability is a huge issue. We use things like land transfer tax to woo people to buy homes in the 905 area.
Yep.
But we're struggling. I mean, property taxes are the thing that people complain about, but how do you expect communities and municipalities to raise their revenues?
Right.
We only have a couple of opportunities through development charges and through property tax. We don't have the tools that we need to be creative and to take the pain off the homeowner, and I get it. It is an affordability issue for them, but we as a municipality don't have the luxury of running a deficit. So we have to be creative. It's not on the radar right now, but I can't tell you it always will be, because we need the flexibility to make sure that we have the resources we need. Something that we'll be talking about in the next year is a Parks and Recreation master plan that will be looking at all the recreation uses around the city and deciding some facilities have really outlived their usefulness. I think we have 160 facilities in the city of Brampton that are all 30 years old and older. So how do you make them relevant and useful for the new neighborhoods, the new kinds of sports that people want to do, whether it's cricket or kabaddi, or whether they're soccer or baseball fans? We need to find ways to make it so that all the communities can enjoy it, that we can attract tourism dollars.
Sure.
Because that's the fun of it, showing off your city, bragging a little, and bringing those investments and those dollars and that excitement to your city. We're going to have the 55+ games this summer. We want to find a way to capture all of those guests coming in, want them to have a good time in Brampton, want them to spend money, use taxis, stay in our hotels, and spread the wealth around.
Spread the wealth around. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for coming in, sharing your thoughts and visions on the city of Brampton and what you see it becoming. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, and we will see you next time on Uncovering Real Estate. Bye-bye.